between Gambit youngsters and Team Spirit. Will age be the solution for Gambit? Every player on this team 19 or 18 years old. It's not often you see it, but these young guns are looking to take over an upset.
Now, I'm real curious, too, on the side of Gambit youngsters. You know, what happens if they go in here and they just go flawless through the road to Rio? And do they like graduate? Are they not youngsters anymore? Like, what happens there?
Maybe they move to the main Gambit team, right? Like, you never know. That team currently doesn't exist, so
yeah.
maybe.
I mean, it's always a weird one, right? Because we've had like these like you know, like youngsters / like academy
Junior
iterations
teams,
of rosters before, and it does always seem quite funny because there have been times where like those academy teams have started to outperform the main teams, and you do look at it like, something here isn't quite right. There was also like always that, was it North Academy or was it like, did EFRAG have an academy team? It was one or the other. And like the main team just disbanded.
They barely paid their main team, mate.
And then they like still had this academy team floating around and everyone was looking at it like, well, you don't even have a main team anymore. Are we going to see the academy team just get promoted to that? But yeah, you know, let's see, right? I would love for Gambit youngsters to come in here and surprise us. And in this round, they're going to start off down by Connector. Magix is the man to open this round up with an early kill and a man advantage taken. Team Spirit now, they can just kind of ease back into this defense, right? Knowing that the pressure is on for Gambit youngsters. Supra with a nice one shot there onto Mir. And Shiro making some noise over here at the long side of the map. He does get tapped down by some Die Young. And so man advantage back in favor of Team Spirit now.
And that bomb was rotating up. Gambit youngsters really were requiring Shiro to get a kill there. They wanted to hit the A site, and now they're going to just go down below. Now, Spirit aren't here, and Gambit are able to get a plant. That's good, but we know that B site is very retakeable. Supra, though, doesn't want to let it happen. He finds another kill off of this P250, looking for a third. Oh, the spam is there, but the shots do not connect. And now Inters, he's got it all to do and not a lot to do it with. No armor and a decoy. Spirit about to tap this bomb. They've got a kit as well. Chopper can just go for the full defuse, and Inters, he's got to get that player off right here, right now. He can't. Some Die Young saves the day, and Team Spirit will find the pistol round in this map.
Well, Team Spirit coming out swinging in the first round. And now they're going to be able to swing around these bomb sites with these rifles.
Gambit straight in with the force as well. Look, this is a decent buy. 2 AKs with utility on Axile, who obviously had his dropped over. Supra found 2 kills off the P250, so he could buy his own with no util. Scout shot as well from Shiro, connecting onto mid down in Monster. Gambit, early B presence for them. They're holding mid passively in the form of Inters, and another man in the connector. So waiting to see if Spirit have any aggression in them. Very focused outside this Monster. They know Gambit youngsters are sitting outside it, but crawling towards a short area as well. So Gambit have at least another route to hit this B bomb site with. I'd imagine that's where they're ending up, but with nothing seen on A for Spirit, they have no reason to deconstruct this triple Monster setup. Not every day you see 3 players in this position. Chopper playing anti-flash as well. Obviously, a contact short play would be excellent for Gambit youngsters, but this is the last place they're going to be looking. They're going to be scared of the site, CT, the pit. This is the last position they'd be thinking about.
And unfortunate timing there for Chopper. Still able to help out with some damage, but Supra has just opened this entire B bomb site up. He goes in, gets himself 3. Now does admittedly get traded by some Die Young, but this force buy for Gambit youngsters is looking real good. I disbalance still with a scout over here in heaven. And he's going to look to try and play into this round, helping out some Die Young in any way, shape, or form. Thus far, hasn't been able to get a tag off, and that's because this site is still smoked. With no kit in play for Gambit, or for Team Spirit, rather, Gambit youngsters might just be picking this round up, as Team Spirit kind of have to bow out of this one. They've just got to give the respect over, give this first round on the board for the Gambit youngsters side.
And I told you guys Gambit youngsters are going to win this series. Now, I told you that. And what I also need to tell you is that we're going to be trying out some new features here, and I kind of want to put you two up to the test. And I'm not talking about you two out in the audience. I'm talking about you two right here in the studio with me, Harry and Hugo. Now, we do have this match of Overpass on our hands, right? So here's what we'll do.
Right.
we're going to get the chat to participate a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear.
And it's going to be
I trust
forehead
him.
for Harry.
Yeah.
And Kappa for Hugo. And tell us who you
sure.
think gave us the best intel in this round. Now, what I want to have happen here is for Harry to cast the round about halfway through, and then we'll switch and we'll let Hugo give his best attempt at the next round. That way we can give ourselves a couple of seconds to compile all the data and the answers.
Right.
with our
Take
math
it.
team.
Right then, so you really nailed this by talking through my time, but here's a fast B play for Gambit youngsters. They've done this because they know the utility is low for Team Spirit, so they can get in the face of these CTs and get into the bomb site with ease, not get held back by this utility. And now they get that bomb down inside of B. Chopper looking to continue. His little tear actually just ducks himself out of short, leaves completely, and it might just be the immediate save from Team Spirit. They made the decision to force buy into this round. They lose 2 players immediately, so the hopes of retaking in a 3-on-5 are just out the window. And as a result, they're going to try and hold what they can into the following round, look to try and do some damage with it before they bring the rifles out. With Gambit youngsters taking 2 in a row, they've won the force buy wars, and that means that they should now move on to a 3-1 lead unless these weapons can upset in the following round. There you go. I think I nailed it, Trace.
Yeah.
Only take about 20 seconds, but there we go.
I think
pretty good.
Harry definitely casted that round better than I casted that round, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Well,
I think I nailed that
that's
one.
why we
Woo!
bring
Let's
him
go.
down in the next round. We're going to see if we can change it up here. Harry with the leading votes right now. Of course, that's forehead in chat.
Hugo,
for
like, still
Capital H.
making a resurgence, obviously.
Yeah,
Didn't
haven't
even
said a
get to
word.
say a word there, but I love it. I love the Hugo appreciation. He's a lovely guy.
Well,
So go on, man.
let's see
go.
if we can appreciate Hugo in this round. That's going to be Kappa if you want to vote for Hugo. No pressure now. Eyes of the world upon Hugo B. Byron from Bright.
Not where I'm from, but thank you, Trace. Yeah, I mean, this is a hard
Oxford,
fight, right? Like Harry said, it was the save guns for Spirit. They're not going to force round it. Safe decision, looking for the loss bonus that will be building up. And Gambit, we're talking a building. They have got quite the buy on themselves. AWP in the hands of Shiro. Definitely keep your eyes on him as he sets himself towards middle. Some die young with the only M4 in this round, looking to take things away. He's pushed the playground, or at least outside it, with support of the scout from IDIS Balance, so he doesn't have to worry about being left alone on a limb, but he hasn't got any limbs left after that one. Inters finds him quickly coming out of the playground, and Gambit youngsters, a man advantage in this one. It's a slow default. They're not deciding to move at all, but that vote certainly is. It's adjusting just that little bit. I'm ticking over the edge maybe, so keep putting your Kappas in the chat. But
That's live. That's cool. Keep going. Hugo, don't let us stop you here.
yeah, it's. I mean, I would have if you didn't interrupt, Trace.
Oh,
but
okay,
you know,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
only
yeah.
so much I can do. And Gambit youngsters, what they want to do is this B bomb site. They want to do it in. And Spirit have stacked this position, a gamble on an eco round. Now, their triple monster play certainly didn't work wonders, but this one could. The flash is in, the first play is out, Magix is down, and a 5-on-3 for Gambit youngsters. They should be able to convert this round. Are they ready for the tight positions? The choke point as Chopper chokes them out. 2 kills off of the Deagle. Inters has to commit here. The Orc can't find a shot. Chopper's on a third. How's it falling apart for Gambit youngsters? They're still taking things by the second. Shiro responds. It's all on IDIS Balance, and he will not balance inside of that B bomb site. It's Gambit youngsters taking it. It gets messy, but they close it out.
Craziness. Now, I know where my vote would lie. Actually, I don't. It's a house divide.
Where would it? Yeah. Go ahead, Trace.
Somewhere between Kappa and Forehead. It's going to have to be between them two. Now, all things considered, Chopper really putting the work in on that round. He pulled it out and let it spray out there throughout that B bomb site.
Yeah, you understand why that ends in a B play for Gambit youngsters, right? Like, it's another one of these rounds where they know that there's not really much on the other side, so they can maybe just break down the barrier at B. And with already getting a kill over at the A side of the map, I think they were anticipating that Team Spirit would keep a few more bodies up towards that A site. And then they try run the gauntlet. They're just not ready for the sheer presence of Team Spirit over at the B site. And Chopper landing some phenomenal shots. I think that's a good sign of things to come. Let's see what else he has in the tank in this round. As Gambit now setting up outside of the B site again. They're really keen on this side of the map. And this is looking like it might just be a fast play in and maybe a fast play out of the round as well. It's a very swift exit here for Gambit youngsters. Shiro, the only man remaining. Kind of wondering, all right, guys, 4 seconds ago, there were 5 of us. Now that that time has passed, it seems to just be me. I'm probably going to leave. I'm actually heading out, so you guys take care.
Yep. Just barely out of T-spawn, and they're going to be closing down this vice grip on top of Shiro. Player that we identified as one to watch over here for the side of Gambit youngsters.
Yeah, something to note as well, right? Team Spirit are keeping a very, very heavy stack towards B early on, and with good reason. All we've seen is Gambit youngsters go towards this B bomb site thus far. So we need to see some kind of variation away from that in the coming rounds, because you can't just have Team Spirit and kind of enable them to afford this many players down towards B and then just play around the bits of information they get. It's not uncommon to see more players towards B early on, but you can't keep feeding that beast, right? You need to start to probe the other areas of the map.
Oh, D, he's open to mid, and Some Young will push it. I was going to say as well, you're right, Harry. We saw the effect of that in the previous round, prior to the one we just saw, where SDY pushed mid anyway and took a fight towards Playground. Like, Team Spirit know that Gambit don't have this control, and they're trying to take the players away. But there is a default, at least. Gambit holding early positions, holding early map control, which is what matters. Making sure that Spirit don't do those kind of aggressive plays. And we'll see if that continues here on this T side. Where do Gambit go with more guns? It's a Deagle on Axile. Everyone else is able to afford. But the AKs are truly in for Spirit. They got 3 of them. Alongside a free AWP on IDIS balance, this guy can be quite the nuisance with the AWP. And on the CT side of Overpass, he is truly in his place up on Divided. Oh, what?
Adios.
Man, he really is a chopper. He just flies down. Oh, another. Go on. Oh, he gets a third. Chopper has lit them up down in the connector. Strafing runs from this man have now found Team Spirit 5-3 up in terms of manpower. And my word, Gambit youngsters, they've just been torn apart on an astronomical level in this round. That is so gross. Chopper, stop it. Come on, man. They're youngsters, they're younglings, and here he is, just full-on Anakin Skywalkering them. My goodness. Shiro, the last guy remaining, and here's the revenge. Get out, Chopper, the flat guns are in, but it's only brief. Team Spirit, they're going to take a 3rd round up on the board.
Man, Chopper is feeling himself
Look
today.
at this.
Complete control.
Bang. Mid-air. First bullet headshot mid-air.
Letting it rain.
Oh. That's just filth.
Yeah, the 3K there is not going to taste good for the Gambit youngsters. He goes and grabs a couple more for himself. So Chopper certainly one to watch out for at 11-3 as you look towards the 7th round of play.
Yeah, and now Gambit has been broken. They're on eco in this one. So Spirit, chance to take the lead on the CT side. You didn't even see the flick. It wasn't even on our screens with IDIS balance. He'll make them scream. He's got 1. Second picked up by SDY in the middle, and he can start to lay down the pain with the S no armor for Gambit, so they will just get slaughtered. Even a player coming up con to help out, and with a flashbang from Chopper, that will do exactly what they need. Axile alone, and not for long, he should be joining his teammates in the grave, or back in the T-spawn, more likely. Spirit, 5 alive, 4 on the board, and the buy coming back in for Gambit. I can't even... what?
That's the thing. This is like a classic IDIS balance shot to land as well. Like these are just his bread and butter. And then like he misses the easy shot, like, you know, in quotation marks, onto the guy just kind of stood in mid the second time around. But sure, he hits that flick. And you know, I really think that this little tag team of Some Young and IDIS balance that we have over towards this A bomb site is a terrifying duo. IDIS balance is like a hot AWPing talent, right? He's really impressed us whenever we've seen him in the past. And Some Young, very, very consistent in his rifling. And I feel like they're going to complement each other well. Even there, right, in this little duel over in top mid, he gets like a late trade onto Inters. Now, Supra has opened up down here in the lower tunnels. He's been someone who's kind of been impressing me thus far in this, but I'm not going to lie, haven't really heard much about him. But thus far, he's been landing some blinders to find these openers for Gambit youngsters. Lots of S's, lots of like pluralization in that sentence. That felt weird.
Now, do you have a little bit of a lull in the action? I just want to go ahead and point out that the average age for the Gambit youngsters, 18.8.
Yeah, like I said, not a single person over the age of 19, not a single person under the age of 18. Like, that's crazy. You never see that, Trace.
Spirit, 22.2. So there's a difference here. It's on
old
numbers.
Men.
You can't even lie about it. Old, yeah, they're basically just old at this point.
Yeah, 22, your life's like over at that point, right?
Maybe it'd be like Gambit oldsters at some point, you know?
Oldsters.
Like maybe they just stay youngsters until they're kind of old.
Gambit OAPs.
Gambit elderly.
Gambit assisted living. We'll see. But right now it's Spirit saving their guns on the A side of things. Gambit youngsters get away with a clean-ish round, only losing one player. No AWP for Shiro, but the money was taken away in a couple of rounds ago, and so Spirit is still holding on to that one. Look at Spirit's economy right now. They've got players on 8 to 10,000. That's about to go over the top as well with that round ending. So Spirit in a very good position economically, but again, we're wondering that how many rounds can Gambit get on this T side. We know that when it comes to Overpass, they are 50-50 in their round split via T and CT. Also a rare thing to see.
2 ADR.
Yeah,
is that rare enough for you? Big Nafany. Not having a good one at it so far.
Yeah, that's some nasty-ass Nafany right now. Not what we wanted, but hopefully he can turn it around moving forward.
If any org was going to make a team called like the Gambit Oldsters or just something like that, I could totally see it being Gambit. You know, like if you remember the major that they went on to win just before it, they dropped that Ladder Sedan music video with the Dren. You know, like while all the other teams are prepping away, putting in the hard work.
Look at the stuff they did for Doja in terms of just marketing exposure. It's crazy.
They are wild, man, the Gambit guys.
Definitely one of the coolest orgs we have in Counter-Strike.
Definitely not any Zoomers around here. Gambit, a name that certainly has rang some championship bells here within the space of Counter-Strike, but that was a time or two ago, and now they have the youngsters here to try to defend their namesake. And what is a 4-4 game so far.
Oh, bit of a boost up for me. That's, well, I was going to say well-timed, but Axel was holding it constantly, so very aware of that possibility. Gambit youngsters with a man advantage, and Spirit got to gamble. Which site do they want to stack? Which site do they want to leave untethered? As the boost is dropped up on the A site, iDisbalance might be left alone. It's very common to see an AWP on its own on A. Heavier B setup, and of course you have the ability to jump spot on that A site pretty safely. And well, no jumping needed because Magix has spotted players down on B. Not the Danish dude, but he's here to lay down the pain. Gambit youngsters trying to push through Monster. They're looking for a fight before they do, because as they enter the tunnel, Magix forces fights, and Chopper can come and help out from the sidelines. It is a slaughter from this dynamic duo on B. Supra, he's out through the smoke. He's found a gap. He's found a chance. But if he goes any wider to Monster, will he get spotted? Yes. But the shot missed. Sumdar Young jumping does get the kill eventually, but the round's done at that point. Inter's with the bomb, and only 5 seconds left. He's too late to do anything here. Spirit are going to have to pick it up as Gambit youngsters save a single gun.
A lot of action going on here in our server, but don't let that distract you from the fact that Chopper not only having a Terra here, some other teams are looking to get to the Chopper as it is. And now when I say that, I'm talking about over there on our other stream featuring Stream C, the one that we got to catch up with Mitchman beforehand, Winstrike 11-0 over Team Unique, currently on map 1. The pick of Unique, that being Nuke, go to Vertigo next, the pick of Winstrike, and if that continues, well, you can imagine how that series rounds itself out.
Well, Gambit have been defaulting B most of this game, but they're going to make a move towards middle for a change. Deagle leading the way on Supra. Shiro's got the AWP as well, so hopefully we'll get that head-to-head we've been waiting for as Gambit get closer towards A. Spirit have always got the right reads, and that's because Gambit, I mean, they've been pretty obvious on which side they're defaulting in these rounds, right? They typically have, one player A, one con, 3B. And that's obvious because you're making the noise outside B and you're passively holding on the other 2 positions. So Spirit should know what's going on, and this con boost as well only confirms the fact as well. Double long setup with support from iDisbalance's AWP at the site, and it will be about to meet a bit of a fight. Chopper on the corner. Flash should be going through, and it will. Good flash as well. Both CTs blind and gone straight away. iDisbalance will respond, but he's got players on either side of long to deal with, and he can't. He gets a leg as peeked out by Nafany, saves his teammate's life. Axel knows they're coming from Connect, and he's seen this flank, but he can't hold the line, and Gambit need to watch their back.
Yeah, the 2x teammates of Mir and Axel go head-to-head. Mir comes out on top there, 2-on-3, as they try and aggress in towards this A-side retake. That Molotov holding back Magix just for a moment. Mir now getting up into the site, taps down Supra. Now they know he's at long, but Inter's very low on HP here. That nade is going to finish him off from beyond the grave, and Magic wins the head-to-head out over Nafany. AWP retrieved, and the defuse going to come on through. Team Spirit will put this 6th round up on the board.
He's spinning so fast.
Yeah,
Light
man.
speed.
So fast.
Yeah, that was actually good patience on the player coming up long. I think it was Mir. He sets up a grenade. He gets a kill. He to cover his teammate. He realizes there's someone in the bank, and there was an AWP in the bank scoped on him. And if Mir goes wide, he probably dies, but he throws a grenade instead. And even though that forces a peek from Nafany, it guarantees the kill on the more difficult player of the two, right? The AWP in the bank, that's such a good position for an AWP. The bomb was planted for it as well. So an important kill from Mir and a clutch from his teammate on the site.
It's kind of interesting, right, when you think about, like, because we always talk about how with like these regional games, you're always going to have some degree of history, right? And with Axile and Mir, they were both in that Gambit squad, right? Obviously, then their paths diverged when everything with that kind of fell apart. Axile moves down into the Gambit Youngsters squad from the main team. And for Mir, he went on to join this Team Spirit organization. I'm pretty happy for Mir because, obviously, he came from Vega. He was picked up to be that 5th back in the old Gambit unit. And I don't know, man, it kind of felt like he just got left in all the positions that no one wanted to play. Like that was very much a team that was already established, already had their kind of brand of Counter-Strike, and he was brought in to play around it. And obviously coming from Vega, a team that was very kind of different in its approach to the game, right? We'll say, like, very, very fast, very aggressive, and then expected to just fall in line with this system. I'm happy that he's moved into like new waters with this Team Spirit squad. And hopefully we see him feeling more comfortable than he looked in that Gambit squad. I feel like, already we're seeing more out of him. Now, Team Spirit, 6-4 in the lead, but this round, Pistol forced by a partial investment from the Gambit squad with a bit of money left lying around to invest in the follow-up. They'll get up here through short side. Chopper just about able to get out of danger, but Supra is not so lucky. Someday Young removes him from the equation, and now it's back-to-back here with the man in question at long. Shiro going to dig down both players over at the long side, and now he's left in a 1-on-3. He does get his hands on the AWP, but is not ready for Chopper to swoop on in and save the day.
Yeah, too many of these rounds. Shiro has been, left in these clutches, these 1-on-5s, and not ready for repeats more often than not. Spirit have been very, very fast at trading kills when they figure out where Shiro is, and, well, at least he's got the money for the AWP once again in this round. That was an eco for Gambit. They get a bomb plant, they get some kills. It's not the end of the world, but Spirit taking the lead here, and significantly at that. It's good to see. This balance hasn't really been needed on this AWP. He's been pretty slow, 4-3, but going back for that mid pick with a spawn, he's been good at finding advantages at the very least, but the flash is going to deny him. There was an AWP peeking with it, so good to see him back off as Shiro now dominates the angle. Balance needs to look elsewhere for a pick with this AWP.
Inter is going to start to aggress up towards long. Has the rest of the team falling in behind him. And a bit of a slowdown here for Gambit Youngsters. Really just pumping the brakes. I think they've been caught off guard by the overzealousness in some of these rounds, so they're keen to not let a man advantage slip away. And now they'll start to look for control of Connector, rotating players back once they've seized control over here alongside. I like this idea of just leaving Inters hidden, right? You completely give up this idea that you've actually got anyone at long. And it's not been uncommon for Team Spirit to actually, push late into this position. Think about the amount of times we've seen that double hole between Balance and Someday Young kind of playing the bait and switch in the corner at long. So it's a nice idea, and one that maybe Inters could have been rewarded with a kill from, but that's not the case, as the time's now ticked away, and instead of aggressing alongside, Balance is pushed up in the toilets. Now, meanwhile, Gambit Youngsters try and gain a foothold here at B, but they've got to commit to this site. There's 20 seconds left. They don't really have a choice now in the matter. They've just got to get into B, and with Chopper still floating around, hidden, concealed by this smoke, he tries to go through, and Axile is holding down the angle. Disbalance, the last man remaining, and 1v4 might just want to think about holding on to this AWP. There is still money for Team Spirit, so he could justify, floating around, seeing if a kill is gifted over, which it will be. And now, with a player wrapping around in the form of Inters, Disbalance, he doesn't know it, but this is a temporary 1v1 at the B bomb site. He's not going to know that, though. And that's the sad part. Inter is never leaving long, never leaving these toilets, is still coming in on the flank. And so even as iDisbalance looks to save, he runs the risk of going down.
Yeah, they're going to hear him for sure. Inters is going to be waiting for him at the bank, and there will be no caches checked. iDisbalance does get a whiff of him. Backs out just barely. Oh, no.
What? Well, I thought he saw him. I thought someone commed that to him because it seemed like he realized. Maybe he thought he was running stairs instead.
I would love to give you guys a bit of a C-Stream update right now because there's something pretty cool going on over there. Winstrike versus Unique. Currently, Winstrike 14-0 up, and that is thanks to Hobbit going 27-5.
Wow.
They just took a 15th round, as we see there, and that 15th round, by the way, was a 2-on-4 from Hobbit and Crizzen.
Yeah, Hobbit disappearing after Gambit was the biggest surprise for me because this guy was such a talent. I mean, I don't need to say that. Anyone who watched Krakow will know as well. Like, what an incredible story for Hobbit, and then he just disappeared, and we didn't get to see him at that top level anymore. So nice to have, you know, him and Winstrike, and hopefully they can provide some success here in the Road to Rio. I'm sure we'll be covering their games at one point or another.
Speaking of Krakow, it's about to be a couple shots rang off here for Shiro.
Look at the little flank. Look at that number 3. We just saw it pop up quickly. This isn't a bug, you know. This is actually where he is. He's in the back line of Gambit youngsters. Some die young. Oh, that's true. It is the youngsters dying young in this round. And my goodness, Inters is torn apart as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, that flank comes in. And that there is the downside of Gambit youngsters falling into these B plays so often and just not showing anything towards mid. They haven't established this like precedent that they're going to spread out. They're going to take the default in the majority of these rounds, right? And then fall into their plays. And as a result, you know, because you've mainly just been going for these set pieces, so it's like where the play starts to come in is usually where the play ends up for this Gambit youngsters squad. The moment they even catch a whiff of smokes of utility over towards B, Someday Young, also on the back of spotting no one crossing mid, just runs the gauntlet.
Peace.
Yeah, and that's a good point, right? Like Gambit, yeah, they often commit to where their default is starting off, which is, we're on a map where that doesn't need to happen. If you have that connector, you can rotate very aggressively, very quickly, and throw fakes on either side. So, you know, you can really switch things up if you own Con. Now, in this eco, they do, but they don't really own the weapons to fight back. So, Magic is looking to force gunfights. He will fall off eventually. No smoke to cut this one off, hoping that they don't flash him. And he's going to dodge it anyway. Good dodging from Magis. I keep saying Magis, like Astralis Magis, because that's all we've been casting, but yeah, that's not what I mean.
Magisk.
So I keep calling Exile by mistake.
What are you trying to say? You trying to get him out of here?
No, man.
Well, yeah, this is
polar opposite, actually. I wanted to stick around.
Spirit have been reading a lot of these rounds, right? Like, not just Someday Young on the flank, but having 3 players on, no matter what site Gambit seemingly hit, even though it is often at, or not often, but sometimes at A site, we have those heavy long setups for support from the orb. So Spirit's experience is certainly paying off here. They look like they are in control. Gambit do find a round, but we're into the last of the half to see where this one's going. iDisbalance with the orb, and Gambit are trying to take middle, but they've been smoking on the molly, and Supra gets Someday Young pushed mid. iDisbalance got a flick, and he doesn't want to reface that fight versus an AWP. Repositions instead. Shiro, oh, he's been spotted, and iDisbalance jumps, but I don't think he realized as he walks into the gunfight. Mira is still here on long, Chopper in middle as well. Heavy setup, and they try and re-aggress once more, but Shiro is having none of it.
Oh, and they catch Magix on the flank, trying to come in on this wrap round. Now that they've spotted Chopper as well, the worst fears have been realized for Team Spirit. They know that this B site is empty on the Gambit youngsters side. Chopper, gonna get down here very, very quickly. Just runs the gauntlet immediately, right?
A little abrasive, but nonetheless, 1v4, Chopper by himself does have some nades to work with in this last round of the half. They're going to Molotov him off, and that's going to give a clear indication as to where they're going to find Chopper. A sharpshooter on this side of Spirit, but the odds are certainly stacked against him at this moment. Pops a flash into the site, tries to get himself some running room, but Shiro has his AWP trained on that graffiti corner, and we're going to train ourselves to go right into this halftime break. We come back, we're going to see the conclusion of Overpass before we start to look at Dust 2 and Mirage. Be right back, everybody.
Seen you smile. ghostly revelation. I may have fucked up all my chances. Yeah. And we ain't sleeping on the floor again. We never sleeping on the floor again. For the ones who didn't make it out, for the ones that didn't see the life, for the ones that never cared, never gave a thought, found no happiness in that brand new car or the house you bought. I see you talking about the love you lost, and it was gone like way before you ever thought it was. Yeah, I took my time, no quick ones, quick run, quick gas to get back there. Hot roads, I didn't think I'd come back fast, cause I was running roads so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up seeing red. Is it such a ghostly revelation? I may have fucked up all my chances. It's easy, it's hard to preach, cause I've been burning trees and watching fall. If we cannot breathe out, we go forward. Sure, I was searching for cure, fishing a little wildlife, and when I'm low on fuel, I'll still be running till my back broke. Halfway, lost hope and I checked it. Hard roads, I didn't think I'd come back fast, cause I was running roads so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up seeing red. But you won't even get it. Been around the
A deep breath there for some, and one of those is going to be Hugo Byron. He'll be all right, and so will that of the Gambit youngsters, actually. As we take a look at this first half of play, things have gone quite interestingly enough. Not as nearly as interesting as a 16-0 over on the other stream, but hey, that's for others. We're here on the A stream, guys.
Pretty unique stuff from the Windstrike crew. And they'll 16-0 the team in question over on Nuke with a monstrous performance from Hobbit. But let's focus on this round here and now. We'll see that over here on the T side, Team Spirit going to be setting up over towards the party. Basti, do you have any fancy camera angles over here in top mid that you want to show off? That one doesn't really show us anything, so I guess the answer is no. There we go, this is kind of okay. They'll start to grab some long control and move on up here on the Team Spirit side. 3 players in question. We're fiddling around, like, you know, we're trying out some new things here, and we're kind of dropping Bastion in this in a big way, but I'll highlight it just before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty of this round. We're trying to play around with removing the X-ray every now and again, just so we can see just how fast, you know, some of these reactions have to be, and kind of put ourselves on the same level as the guys in the server.
It gives us, and you, the viewer, hopefully a different appreciation for what's going on, because as we've said before, some people just connect and they'll watch the game and they're like, well, why aren't they, you know, fragging each other easily, or they can see each other through the walls. But that's just not the case.
And, you know, like, for everyone who watches this every day, you know, you probably know that they can't see that. But for new viewers, right, people like my father, for example, he had no clue. And that's because these guys are so good at the game, it looks like they know. Now, they're going to set up outside of the A site. Bastion, drop that X-ray. Let's see how this starts to look now as the push comes on in. Back here on the dice box and tucked into a corner. And it's going to be Axile and Supra putting up a bunch of numbers in this round. 4 kills between the two of them. Some die young, the last man remaining. And a very tall task on his shoulders. One that is probably asking a bit much of him. A 1v5 required. And as he peeks into the site, he's going to see absolutely nothing on this first peek in. But rest assured, there are players tucked into every corner here. As he gets on in, no time, and Some Young dying after time. I absolutely love that from Gambit youngsters. They all just hide. They completely run. They just tuck away. They wait till after the time. Some Young actually was just looking to get killed there. He wasn't even trying the clutch anymore. And they wait till after the time to find the frag. That is actually great planning from Gambit youngsters to really put themselves ahead in a very big way now.
Oh, they definitely swarm that site. Now, another thing, as we were telling you, we're trying new things here. You can see when we turn off X-ray that the mini-map is still live. So if you do get a little lost in the flurry of the fight, you could just reference up there to the top left of the screen and you'll be caught back up to speed. Meanwhile, Gambit youngsters do not want to forgo these weapons. They're going to be playing tight over here on this B site. And already, one of the players has fallen in the form of Supra. Amir goes for 2, and he's able to get himself 2 with relative ease, down on 19 HP. Now just Napany fighting from the monster pillar. That's going to be enough to scare off this Team Spirit side.
This is a great call to bail here. You've got 2 picks on B. You've still got Chopper pushed up on A. You know Gambit are going to be leaning on that lower site. So if Chopper can find a kill, he'll have A for free. And that's why Shiro is playing so passive. He doesn't want to be that man going down and losing the round as a result. Even though those B picks came through, with things going silent, Gambit youngsters know that, wow, Spirit could be anywhere. And that previous round as well, that execute on A was telegraphed pretty clearly to Gambit, and they had all those rotates up towards that top side. The molly as well missed on default, and that really made things problematic. But regardless, we're here now anyway in Spirit. They're trying to take A. 2 CTs here. Shiro tucked. They're not ready for a second man. Axel will drop the bomb as well, stalling it out on the site, and another kill as well. Low HP on Mir, but he's going to finish the job. 3rd kill of the round for him.
Yeah,
Anthony got a clutch.
Axel needed, Axile needed another kill there, and that would have really spun that back in the way of the Gambit youngsters. But as it stands, Spirit, well, just kind of making us forget all about that pistol round, that flawless one from the side of Gambit youngsters over on the A site. Now, interestingly enough, we look at the round timeline of that first half, and there was never a point in that first half of play at all where either team strung together more than 3 rounds consecutively, which does wonders for the economy game.
Wow, the economy game right now, it's playing in the hands of Spirit. No surprises to be said as Gambit force up in the 3rd round of the half. Shiro saved a bit of money for that ult later on, but everyone else bought in, committed to the cause. Nades are avoided by Spirit by and large. They're going to commit towards B. There's the entry. Supra dead in the water. Inters will join him, drowning below. And Gambit, I mean, that's a done round already, right? Bomb planted already. Gambit decided to fall out of this one. They're going to hang around, look for some kills, see if Spirit offer anything up. But Spirit is certainly not going to be losing this round.
Looks like your boy Jerry is starting to lose over there against Namiga there, Harry.
Ooh.
Jerry and Harry. What a combo.
Yeah, man, the troublesome duo that no one knew existed.
Or even asked for that.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, one thing I will say about Jerry is that, you know, once, because that's the thing, right? He's someone who still has like a lot of life left in his playing career, but 100%, like once he decides, you know, like enough is enough, whatever that point comes in, I think he has a real future in providing some like good and analytical content, like
being a broadcast talent.
Someone who can really talk about the game as well as play it. And you know, you might like think, okay, well surely most IGLs can talk about the game, but it takes a lot to be able to put like your very complex ideas that you spend, you know, like months nailing down into like very digestible and understandable kind of points. And that's what I think Jerry's great at. That's why he's such a treat. That's why I'm such a fan of him, Trace.
That's why you drew that portrait of him
I did actually draw a portrait of Jerry, yes.
Yeah, that was nice.
It wasn't very good.
No, you're right. It was terrible. I lied. It was awful.
Drawing has never been my strong point.
Math, English, neither of those as well. We do really look to hone in on what Harry's strong points are, but for the time being, the strong point here for Spirit is that they have rifles against the pistols of Gambit, who have elected to push heavy A and mid presence in this round. 3 through the connector. This could get real nasty, but you can see Spirit, they're already on the B site, very cautious of it still, but they know that there's something funky going on here. Know that there's something weird going down with the youngsters.
Yeah, maybe Chopper's grenade. That's a little weird. Doesn't go down where he thought it would into the connector. 2 players trapped here. Nafani will be fine in this corner, but he's going to get spotted. Nowhere to go. Chopper spamming. Ooh, it's very close. He's down to 30. no rush here for Spirit, right? And you don't want to risk giving guns away. So, you know, these are USPs. At the end of the day, you don't really care. You can just hold onto your guns. But if you want to get that little bit of extra money and, of course, a little bit of extra disrespect, make sure Gambit youngsters know their place, then you're going to want to hunt down these kills or let them come to you. Mira and Chopper doing exactly that. Chopper, he needs to get all three if he wants to hold on to this AK. He's got support now. Some Young coming from B, and there's no guns to be saved here. Shiro is alive, but they might just let him stay alive with that USP. Goes for it, but yeah, it's still going to be a good round for Spirit. They take the bomb B very early. They spot that mid pressure from Gambit, but the buy is coming through in this round anyway.
It's true.
And I mean, this is a map, Overpass for Gambit youngsters, obviously their pick. This is one where they have an 80% turnover rate. Now, obviously, we talk about these teams. They play a lot of online CS. They play a lot of, you know, qualifiers or cups. And so, yeah, they are going to be farming lower tier teams. But, you know, even Gambit youngsters having some, you know, impressive victories here over the likes of VP, taking down Smash, you know, taking down Endpoint. So there are names here in the trophy cabinet for Gambit, but not Spirit, not yet. And maybe not at all if they don't turn things around on the CT side here.
Chopper about to have a rude awakening at long. Maybe decides better of it. The AWP was trained up on him over there. In the hands of Shiro, he's going to go a little bit more aggressive with it as they work to clear out this connector and short side from Team Spirit. Also presence with B with the bomb. So this looks to be a B split at the end of the day.
Ooh, a frontside A-site smoke thrown by Spirit is going to deny a lot of info from the A players. That means they're going to be late to rotating down lower because the man on the site can't really see anything.
Yeah, let's hold this screen right here for just a second. I think they've used most of their utility at this moment, but there are still some smokes to come out here for the side of Team Spirit. 40 seconds left on the clock. Where will they elect to use these? They're going to go for the fights instead. They're going to go for that first and foremost. Interestingly enough, Magic's completely blind, running Galil's shot onto Supra. And they haven't had to use a smoke to get into the site.
Oh, dear.
They just walked out dry on them.
Yeah, look at where that's left Gambit with nothing, right? They've got to save their guns, and Spirit already beginning the hunt. They've got money for days, and it's got to feel pretty rough if you're Gambit. Giving away 13 and saving 3. Shiro doesn't even get a chance at the AWP. He is avoided on that A site in this round, so Mir's being very loud. I think he's been heard from the truck. So Axel's going to be waiting for this exit. Could be a free kill. Oh no! Mir kills his teammate. That is a big error. And Gambit, I mean, they get the trade, but that feels worse than anything right there. Axel, an AK upgrade, but a gun loss for Gambit. And at this point in the game, that makes so much difference. 3 weapons is the difference between a buy and an eco. And now they've certainly got to eco this round, give away 14, and play for the next.
And if you're Gambit, yeah, you're going to call in this timeout right here. I was wondering when that would happen, but it appears as though we're on the same wavelength here. Gambit youngsters down a considerable amount of rounds, and, well, with this half slipping away, this map is also slipping away beside it. And they're going to have to go back to the drawing board, get really creative here to put a stop and give an answer to Team Spirit's aggressions on their T side.
You know, what is certainly scary here is the fact that Spirit, this is their second least played map. The only one below it is Vertigo, which is their insta-ban in pretty much every series we see them in. So, yeah, like, this is a great game for them, but they've only played this map 7 times. They've got, you know, 20 maps logged, 23 maps logged on some of these other ones, even in the series here today. Dust 2, 18 logged, Mirage 20. So this isn't even one where they've got everything to show us, and they're still taking a pretty comfortable, convincing victory at the moment. We'll see if that changes, but it certainly bodes well for Spirit to be able to 2-0 this series.
Yeah, I do think as well that, like, when you look at the individuals on Team Spirit and you think about, like, where they've come from, right? You've got, like, guys in here from Vega Squadron, you've got guys in here from Gambit, and in the past, in, you know, previous teams that these guys have been a part of,
oh, baby.
This Overpass map has usually been one of the go-tos, right? So even though Team Spirit might not have, like, the craziest amount of plays on it with this iteration of the squad, on like an individual level, this has always been a map that the majority of these guys have been comfortable on. I think that's one of the things I do love about the CIS region as well. Like, Overpass is usually one of like the home maps alongside a map like Dust 2. I think that's pretty fair in saying, right? And I like that. You know, you're not just taking on like these aim-heavy maps. Overpass, very, very tactical in its nature. One of these like vertical maps that gives you a lot of options. And Team Spirit really bringing the heat here into this round. They're going to take a 14th. All Shiro can do is save, hold on to this AWP.
And that's felt like so many rounds, right? Like he's one of the only, or sorry, he is the only positive player on his team, and that's because he's not going for these rounds. He's got 12 deaths, and he's so often on the A site. As much as Gambit hit B in the T side, Spirit are doing that and one-upping them as well, taking so many clean, convincing rounds. And I mean, the bomb's just been planted, but look at Chopper. He's in the playground. He's looking for kills. He's hunting.
Well, look at the impact Chopper had just through the first half, right? Like, he's obviously feeling himself, and at that point, your team's probably like, hey, man, we're up 14-7, potentially. Why don't you go around and see what you can do? Well, he finds Shiro, but then, of course, it has to end in a trade. So 14 up for Spirit. It's neck and neck.
If Rush was watching, he would say, if you're saving, just save. And I agree. Shiro going back in for the repeat. I'm not going to blame him for trying to fight there, right? Like, you're positive, you're feeling good, you know you can hit those shots, but what that has left them in is a very rough situation. They give a free AWP over to a team that, yes, can afford it, but probably weren't going to do so. And now Spirit have 14 rounds. Luckily, Shiro can rebuy, but Gambit, they are running out of options. They are running out of opportunities.
They are. They're going to drop a smoke towards this monster tunnel, and Nappy's going to be waiting on the other side, breathing in air over here on top of this Gambit Youngsters squad.
Yikes.
Also, so far ahead in this round, they wanted to give themselves a bit of a TK.
Wasn't easy enough.
Wasn't easy enough, they said. They were lying. Chopper, Mir, very hurt. Itis Balance with AWP on 77. And they have come to a grinding halt here for Team Spirit.
The classic, oh, we've won, guys. Let's just rush B and close it. And of course, a deep smoke from Gambit. That denies all the info. I feel like if you're Spirit there and you see that deep smoke, not just a traditional monster one, which can deny info, but one that, you know, is so deep in the tunnel that a CT can fight it and have such an advantage in that engagement. That's why no one dies on the defense there early, at least, until the team kill. And Gambit just mow them down. So, yeah, I like it when teams bail when they see that smoke, you know? Molotov, you can smoke off yourself. You can go right through that. But, well, in this case, that's not the problem for Spirit. Still a winnable round, but low HP on Mia, and Chopper's tag to 50 as well. We're relying on some heroics from Itis Balance as they group up still towards B.
Now, minus the fact that they're very low, Harry, this would be something where you'd expect the veterancy of Spirit and all the experience they got from playing on lands to come and show and shine through right here on this B site.
Even how they've played this 3-on-4, right? They wait for ages, and this is just to try and put the doubt in Gambit youngsters' minds, right? You're hoping that they get a bit antsy on the back of not seeing anyone and rotate away from B. Now, that hasn't happened, and Shiro has come rotating in very, very quickly. Inters trying to hold off down here in the pit, and he does deal with Chopper now. A bomb plant is found, but all the pressure is onto Itis Balance, 1v3. And he's got a lot to deliver in this round if they want to pick it up. Obviously not going to happen. Nafany coming in with 4 kills and an 8th round up on the board for Gambit youngsters. They're going to salvage this one yet.
Nice to see that from the in-game leader for Gambit as well, right? Nafany was 0-5 coming into this game. A very slow start for him, so getting some crucial impact rounds in this CT half. Obviously, the question is, how impactful are they going to be, right? Because if you get swept here, if you get closed out 16-10, doesn't really matter how you performed.
Something that is cool, though, like, even if you think about what this Gambit Youngsters project is, and, you know, when we spoke to Nafany, he was saying, like, over in the CIS region, a lot of these teams have made it a focal point to try and start, like, these young rosters, right? Yeah. And I look at it, and I imagine that comes off of, like, the success of teams in the past, like Windstrike. You think about, like, what Fords have been able to do, and you also look at, like, Boomich and Na'Vi. You think about what the CIS's region problem kind of used to be, and that was, at least in my opinion, would be like the lack of kind of IGL powers, for example, that were reliable, you know, to step up in the server. You kind of had like this awkward time period where there was like Zeus, there was Angel, and there was someone like Blade, and then that was essentially it, right? And I think now there's a lot more emphasis on trying to foster this young talent for when those old legends of the game do decide to step away or perhaps just drop down in performance, right? And this is something that we're seeing kind of more regions look towards, but it's nice that the CIS region is the one leading the way, at least in terms of like bringing up all these young teams and really trying to solidify a pool of talent to fall back on.
Well, it's like eventually you get kind of tired of really just recycling the same players over and over and over. They have shelf lives as well.
Look at the success that a team like Na'Vi have had with a guy like Boomich stepping in, right? And in this round, that little double nade stack in towards CT, very nifty indeed. They bring Shiro down to 17 points of health, and he hasn't even seen anyone yet.
Yeah, well, actually, I have a point to make after this round, but right now we're at 30 seconds, and Spirit are rotating back towards A is a real gamble, because Exile, he is going to hear all of this and maybe have some play into it as well, dropping one man. Mira's gone. It's a late mid from Idis Balance, and Axel wasn't to expect it. Now the A site is gone. Axel was the only point of contest on this A site, and he was so pushed up. It looked like a B play through and through, but a rotate away for Spirit, a good decision. That's something Gambit never did on the T side. They never, threw in fakes towards B, got a kill, and then rotated up. But Spirit just did that excellently, and you could see all it took them was one kill to win the round.
Now, Hugo, before you go on to make a point that you're going to make there, I just want to get a joke out there that my buddy Quantum1985 had really said. It's more like a dad joke.
Yeah, take it.
You ready? I ate a clock yesterday.
You ate a clock?
I ate a clock.
At what time?
No, it was very time consuming. Sorry,
I'm sad
guys.
now.
It seemed like a really appropriate thing at the time.
Well done, Trace. It's time to stop. Where are your parents?
You know what? Where are my
15-8.
parents? Good question.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Angel, Harry. I think that's such a great talking point. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he recently announced his departure from HR, and he was talking about looking for squads. And dude, this is a guy that Na'Vi wanted at one point before they brought the current roster into effect. The rumors were, at least I don't know what's true, so I'm just going to go with the rumors. That's what I heard. Was that his buyout was too much, HR wouldn't sell him, and of course Angel, he's been HR forever, so I don't blame the org there. But Na'Vi weren't willing to shell out the cash for him. Well, right now, not only is he maybe more of a free agent or maybe with a buyout, but definitely going to be there for some RU squads to pick up. I'd love to see him back in the in-game leading role in one of these CIS teams, even over in European teams as well. I mean, obviously he can speak English, so Angel, definitely a player that someone needs to pick up at some point, because this guy is crazy good. He's always been one of those in-game leaders that can hold his own in the server, still being able to frag. And that is more than required in the current meta of CS. But back to the action. Spirit maybe closing out the map pick of Gambit Youngsters in this round. They're poised towards B once again. And even though there's a bit of a stack here for Gambit Youngsters, that's not been a problem in the past.
Yeah, and a fast B play here from Team Spirit as they look to get this one across the line. Mir, first man in, still yet to see anyone. Inters is hidden at the barrels. That Molotov not actually deep enough to flush him out. Oh, he's very, very lucky. I do not know how he stayed alive here. Now, the problem he's going to have is with this smoke being down and no one really seeing that molly at the barrels, there's always a chance that someone could have moved up to this position anyway, so they will still have to check it on the Team Spirit side. Inters getting damage done, gets away with 2, but a swift return from Chopper and Magis leaves it now with the advantage in favor of Team Spirit. Ooh. Darting through this smoke is Nafany. He's tried to make a bit of a play here and wrapping up close. He shuts down not 1, but 2 players inside of the site, leaving all the pressure onto Mir. Suddenly this 3-on-2 is stripped away from Team Spirit. Mir does deal with Shiro. Only Nafany left to beat, and he has his name and number. Team Spirit 16-8. They're going to take Overpass, the map pick of Gambit Youngsters under their wing. Dust 2 coming up